And good afternoon. This is the Elliott Wave Daily Update for the NASDAQ 100 being recorded on Wednesday, October the 1st at 2:45 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Uh, Kind of like, I hate to say it, but it was kind of a crazy day yet again. Although this time we had some hints that it was going to happen. And let me kind of go over this. I'm on the hourly chart, but I'm going to go right away down to that 15-minute chart. I continue to look at this as an A, B, C for the B wave portion of this minute wave 4. Reason being is that this and this, it just is not impulsive. This was not impulsive. This was not, what we're seeing are not really impulsive until we got here. This was impulsive, except for one little hiccup right after our opening. So at 9:45, the market did a little plungette, and that was all she wrote. And from the balance, we just went up. And this was again moving back into reestablishing, creating new, not sure, but it was risk on trading. And not that it got out of hand, but it had all the signs of it. All the pullbacks from once we got that one and they started in earnest with that trade, small pullback, small pullback, small pullback, small pullback. That's for me like one of the main things. Now, we got hints. Now, I have to show you, or just take a look at the main hint came in the Qs. Now, the Qs this morning had gone down and they were breaking below the volatility trigger. In fact, they got to traded almost down to 597. Now, 595, we had a large gamma. So I don't think that did not come into question, but let me just double check before I open my mouth. Yeah, it does not. The low was 596. So 595 was large gamma 3. So what really kind of took place in the Qs is when we broke the volatility trigger, we got a little bit of a push. When they retook the volatility trigger and they started to head back up, we didn't get a solid push until the Qs broke back above 600. We retook the volatility trigger. That was a positive. Then we got up and we broke above the call wall and large gamma 3 and then remained above it for the balance of the day. In fact, we closed above it. So Qs finished the day at, let's see what it was, 603. So well above it. In fact, it'll be interesting because I think the call has been like taken out. And we're going to find out because it was the large gamma 1, which means it was the largest position. I'm assuming that it's been taken out. And so I want to see where all of this resets. Now, I am continuing to feel that it remains inside this larger minute wave 4, and we're still getting ready to put in the B wave of minute wave 4. Now, yes, we're up, not by a whole lot, right? 25,037, I'm going to round it up, versus 25,027, rounding it down. So it's like, okay, what do we got going on? Well, same deal. It's slightly irregular. So the best way that I can count it, again, breaking down to that 15-minute chart so we can look inside, I got 1, 2. This was pretty strange, but 1, A, B, C, 2, and then we start to go up. But I think it's all a part of the third, the internal third within this C wave. So the sub-minuet C wave going up, and these are sub-sub levels. That was very powerful third, fits like a T. Small 4, I think we should probably come up one more time, but we need to get up towards these levels. That's the total irregular. And guess what? 100% for the C wave, where the C wave would be equal to the A wave, comes in at 25,179. 1.236, 25,174. Boom. Got a little bit of a mix right there. We have additional, but there's the 100%. We got slightly above it. And here is the 786 is 25,062. If that's all we get and it stops and we start to come down, this is going to be the hint. We'll get 5 up. I can put a C wave above it, but if it's going to turn and come down, then it needs to do so without kind of looking behind. So in other words, when it's done, and we're moving into the next sequence, which would be a C wave going down. And C waves are like third waves, powerful in direction. So this direction would be down. It should be powering down. It should get there not so, more quicker than not. Now again, and we'd be looking for 5 waves. So we're looking for 5 up to complete the C. We'd be looking for 5 to complete the larger C. This to complete the complete the C wave up to put the B wave in place. Right? So then we'd be looking for a minuet C wave down, which will be a stronger 5 than what we just saw going up. So we got some things. Now, what's your alternate, Michael? Well, I have to tell you, the alternate remains the same, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have a problem with it, but I'm going to tell you how it could possibly work. This would indeed be the ABC all the way down, be ABC, and this would be wave 4, minute wave 4. And then we're forming a diagonal going back up. There's wave 1, there's wave 2, A, B, C for wave 3, right? So we get the A wave in of 3, B wave in of 3, C wave of 3. So they'd all be 3s, and it could be a 5-3-5. And boy, I got to tell you, that takes us up. That takes us way up. But that could be what's really happening. And then we're pushing towards a diagonal, which is going to be all 3s, right? It's still 5 waves, but it would be minute wave 5. Now, here's what kind of, to me, I'm trying to work with rather than against, but I may not have a choice, because if we kind of go up there now, we could do this in the next 13 days. As soon as the earnings reports come out, we could be sitting up there at 26,000 or 27,000 at the rate that they want to take this. So that's what prevents me from kind of going with that count. It remains the alternate for right now. And part of that, again, is because the algorithms, the AI, continues to suggest that we should get a surge in the fourth quarter, but in the December portion. So actually thinking that October could be a weaker month still can be the case. Starting off pretty powerful, but it still could be done, and we come flying back down in that C wave. Now, let's just say we're going to get all the way up to that first level. I'm going to just kind of put this in to give us a hint. It's saying it gets up to here. Well, there you have 1.618, not really inside of it. 2.618, that would be a pretty strong slide. That's definitively inside the price territory of the previous fourth. So it would just picture perfect that whole move. So the A and the B got up to an irregular. The C wave brings it all back down. Minimally, what we'd always look for, if indeed the market gets up to here, all right, so puts in a more clean, irregular B wave, you'd be looking for 1.618. And that brings it down to 24,191, which, by the way, it does make a new low below the A wave, and that actually puts it in pretty good shape that we could be done higher without getting into this. And that's going to show us, like, when we come in short of what expectations would be or short of where the fibs are lining up, believe it or not, at this stage, it's going to continue to show the strength of the market. Now, if this is going to be the fourth wave, it's still showing the strength of the market. But because it's forming a diagonal, if that's the case, remember, a diagonal in that fifth wave position after this long of a rally phase, right? Just if we go back just to the intermediate fifth wave, which is what we're in, the minor fifth wave, which is what we're in, etc. It's very, it is powerful. It is getting up to these levels, but if we diagonal, it is actually going to show us that the strength is there, but it is getting tired. The market is getting to a point where it's like, enough. There's going to be who's ever jumping in to buy it now. Well, God bless you. But I think that yes, we're still going to see some upside, but a lot of people I think would be caught because they start jumping in um, because they see the strength come moving in. They're buying up Apple. They're buying up, NVIDIA. They're buying up these different Mag 7 stocks, reestablishing these risk-on positions or adding to them or with whatever's going on. But that's what I saw today, risk-on trading. So I'm not going to leave this here because we don't actually have that top end, but I was just giving you a guesstimate of what it could be. So I'm going to take that off. And here we have the A, and then I'm looking for this. If it comes up one more time, as I said, it still looks like it's incomplete. 1, 2, 3, looking for a 4, get a little 5. There's the first marker. There's what we need to see, 1.236. And let me take it back. We don't need to see it. If I got up here, it still would be an irregular, just not very big, just not much of an irregular. But anytime you're going over the high of that third wave, it's an irregular B wave, right? Because we got the A wave down, it can have the B wave up, it produces a new high. Well, it's irregular. And again, we'd still be looking for like 1.618 coming down. So there's our first marker, 25,062 for a little bit here. But I'm telling you, if it starts now and we have all night until tomorrow morning, if it gets held to there, I'd be surprised. I think we actually can get ourselves up to here before it exhausts all of the new flow coming in. It all gets placed, and then we're ready. And again, let's just take a quick look over what we got coming out tomorrow. So what we have tomorrow is initial jobless claims and factory orders, so 8:30 a.m. and 10 a.m. respectively, and then we have one Fed official out giving a speech somewhere. And so those initial jobless claims and factory orders, yep, it should have it a little bit. We'll take a look to see what they do. And then on Friday, that's the bigger data, and that it's in the U.S. employment report. So non-farm payrolls, et cetera. And then we also have, that comes out at 8:30. Then we also have at 9:45, S&P final U.S. services PMI, and at 10 a.m. ISM services PMI. So that gives us a little bit more, I think, depending on how they come out, could give us that boost or could give us that initial starting to come back down in the C wave. Obviously, shutting down the government, who cares? That's really, the market was like, oh yeah, right, you shut down the government, sure, no problem. And seriously, that was the initial, and that actually came in, but the overnight, government shuts down, bam, hit that low, and then just start to buy it. It was interesting. Because it just continued to go on. And it was clean. I mean, coming in this morning, we had the hint. I had a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I stuck a 1 on it. I stuck a 2 on it. And then I'm like, okay, let's see what we get. And again, we're going to wait and see. Now, I will be, again, I talked about the Qs and what we're going to be looking at for tomorrow. Now, in the NASDAQ itself, we actually, this morning, at 2472, it literally all morning hovered around that level. Obviously, let me get back to it, 24,772. And then to the upside, we had 24,797, which was the large gamma 2 and the call wall. So 97, 24,797, right? So when that broke, we busted. And that was about right there. So we got up, we broke it, we came flying back down. I thought, okay, that could work. And then we went up and we broke it and we didn't stop. So we had hints at like we're going, we had hints at like it's the risk on trade. So we had all these things happening. So we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out. But I'm keeping it as a B wave for right now. The alternate again would be that we're forming a diagonal within that fifth wave. And I'd have to go back out and put wave 4 right there, coming in ultra, ultra short of expectations or even just normal fibs. All right, that is going to be it. Gamma levels will be updated tomorrow morning, and that's the next update will be tomorrow morning.